All right, if you're even thinking about learning to code, I bet there's one huge question that's been on your mind. It's kind of like the first major boss battle in your whole programming journey.
Yep, you guessed it. Which programming language should you learn? Especially with 2026 right around the corner, the choices can feel totally overwhelming and the stakes feel pretty high. So, whether you're a complete beginner staring down your very first line of code, or maybe you're a seasoned pro just looking to add a new skill to your arsenal, we're here to be your guide.
Okay, so let's bring out today's contenders. In this corner, we've got Python, the super accessible powerhouse that's taking over the world of AI. Then there's Java, the rock-solid giant of the enterprise world. Of course, we have C++, the undisputed, undefeated king of raw performance. And finally, C#, the versatile workhorse from Microsoft. These are four absolute titans of the industry, and we're going to break them all down. Now, hold on. Before we really get into the weeds here, I want to make one thing crystal clear. This is not about finding the one best language to rule them all. That just doesn't exist. It's like asking if a hammer is better than a screwdriver. It completely depends on what you're trying to build. Our goal today is to help you find the best tool for your toolbox, for your specific goals. So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to tackle the learning curve, which language is the easiest to get started with. Then we'll go exploring, seeing where these languages are actually being used out in the wild. After that, we'll dive into the job market for 2026, which is what you really want to know, right? And finally, we'll tie it all together to help you choose your path. So let's do this. All right, first round, the learning curve. This is, without a doubt, the biggest hurdle for most people starting out. If a language is too tough right at the beginning, it can just completely kill your motivation. So let's see how our four contenders really stack up when it comes to just how hard they are to learn. We're going to look at everything, from how easy the code is to read to just how many complex ideas you have to wrap your head around right from the get-go. And wow, yeah, there is a very clear spectrum here. Out in front, as the undisputed champion of beginner friendliness, is Python. Its whole design is built around simplicity. Then you've got C#, which is also a really approachable starting point with great modern tooling. Java sits right in the middle, solid but definitely a steeper climb than Python. And then you have C++. It is the final boss of this ranking, no doubt about it. A language that is incredibly tough to master, but for those who do, it offers unbelievable power. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the differences in their philosophies. Python's code is so clean it almost reads like plain English. You want to print hello world? You just write print hello world. That's it. It lets you focus on the what, not the how. Java, on the other hand, is much more formal. It's verbose. To do that same hello world, you have to create a class, then a main method, all this extra boilerplate code. Now that might seem like a pain, but that very structure is what makes Java so incredibly reliable for massive, complex projects with huge teams. Okay, now we get to the big one, the thing that really gives C++ its reputation for being, well, difficult, and that is manual memory management. See, in Python, Java, and C#, there's this thing called a garbage collector that automatically cleans up memory you're not using anymore. C++, it hands you the keys. It puts you in the driver's seat. You have to tell the computer, hey, I need some memory now, and this is the crucial part, okay, I'm done with it, you can have it back. So why on earth would you do this? One word, performance. It gives you direct, low-level control that is absolutely essential for applications where every millisecond counts. But if you get it wrong, you can cause some really serious problems. It's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward feature. Okay, so we've talked about how hard they are to learn. Now for the fun part. Where do you actually use these things? Knowing what they're for is absolutely the key to matching a language to the career you really want. And we have to kick this off with the absolute hottest field in tech right now, AI and data science. We're talking machine learning, neural networks, you name it. When it comes to AI, there's really no debate. Python is king, period. Its secret weapon is this unbelievable ecosystem of libraries, tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch. These things give developers and researchers incredibly powerful AI tools right out of the box. You combine that with its simple, easy-to-read syntax, and it becomes the perfect language for building and experimenting with complex AI models really, really fast. All right, let's shift gears from the cutting edge to the absolute backbone of our modern world, large-scale enterprise systems. I'm talking about the software that runs banks, airlines, giant online stores, and the operating system on most of the world's phones. And in this world, Java and C# are the supreme rulers. They're both statically typed, which is just a fancy way of saying the language makes you be super clear about your data, which helps catch bugs early on. And when your project has millions of lines of code, that's a lifesaver. Java, in particular, is a titan. Its famous write once, run anywhere philosophy means it's incredibly reliable. And of course, it's the official language for building Android apps.
Okay, we're leaving the corporate world behind and heading into an arena where one thing matters above all else: speed. We're talking high-end gaming, high-frequency trading, and the core software that makes our computers run. Here, every nanosecond counts.
Look, when you're talking about pure, raw, unadulterated performance, C++ is just in a league of its own. It's not even close. Remember that manual memory management we talked about? This is the glorious payoff. It lets developers get close to the metal, squeezing every last drop of performance out of the hardware. It's no surprise it's the language powering massive, gorgeous game engines like Unreal Engine and other systems where speed is simply non-negotiable.
All right, next up, let's pivot and talk about the massive world of Windows development, and a language that has also become a giant in the gaming world, just from a different angle. And this is really where C# gets its chance to shine. It was built by Microsoft, so naturally it's the go-to language for building powerful Windows applications on their .NET framework. But its massive claim to fame these days? Gaming. The Unity engine, which is one of the most popular game engines on the planet, especially for indie and mobile games, uses C# as its main language. That alone makes C# an absolutely crucial skill for tons of aspiring game developers. Okay, we've covered the how and the where, but I know what you're really thinking about. What about the jobs, right? Let's peel back the curtain and look at the actual career landscape for these languages as we head into 2026. So the numbers here, they tell a really interesting story. Right now, Python is leading the charge in the sheer number of jobs available, and that's almost entirely driven by the explosion in AI and data science. But look, the old guard, Java and C#, they are right there behind it, representing a massive, stable, and very healthy job market. Now you might be asking, hey, where's C++? It's not because there are no jobs, it's just a more specialized field. The jobs are fewer, but they are often highly technical and can pay extremely well. So what's the big takeaway from that? It's pretty clear, actually. If your number one goal is just to land a job as fast as you possibly can, Python is, without a doubt, a fantastic bet right now. The demand for AI skills has created a huge wave of entry-level jobs that just wasn't there a few years ago. But, just counting job postings doesn't give you the full picture. Each language has its own flavor when it comes to a career. Python's demand is growing like crazy. Java offers something different, rock-solid stability. Companies have been using it for decades, and that code isn't going anywhere. C++ is definitely more niche, but mastering it can lead to premium, highly paid roles. And C# kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It's got stable, high demand, and great salaries in both big business and the gaming industry. All right. Phew, we've covered a ton of ground, haven't we? The learning curve, where these languages are used, the job market. Now, it's time to bring it all home. Let's put it all together in a simple guide to help you make your choice. So let's just break this down into a really simple if-then guide for you. If you're just starting out and you want to see results and build your confidence fast, or if you're laser-focused on AI and data science, then you should start with Python. If you're drawn to building the massive, reliable systems that power big companies, or you want to make Android apps, your path starts with Java. Now, if you're the kind of person who dreams about building game engines from scratch or working on operating systems, and you really love a tough challenge, then you were born to learn C++. And, of course, if you want to build slick Windows apps or make awesome games with the Unity engine, then C# is absolutely the language for you. So, after all of that, what's the final verdict? What's the bottom line? Let's wrap this whole thing up with one last simple takeaway for each of our contenders. Let's boil it all down one last time. Python is your friendly Swiss Army knife. It's easy to learn, can do a bit of everything, and it absolutely dominates AI. Java is that reliable enterprise workhorse, the foundation of countless businesses, and the power behind Android. C++ is the pure performance king, no questions asked, the language of choice for demanding games and core systems. And C# is that modern, versatile option for anyone interested in Windows, the .NET world, and making games in Unity. But listen, at the end of the day, after all this analysis, all the charts, all the talk, it really comes down to one simple, honest truth. The best language isn't on a chart. The best language for you is the one you actually enjoy, the one that gets you excited to sit down and build something cool. Because trust me, in programming, the single most important thing is just showing up and coding day after day. So, there you have it. We've laid out the map for you. We've pointed out the different roads and where they might lead. The choice really just comes down to your personal goals, your interests, and what kind of problems you get excited about solving. So, the only question left is, which journey are you going to start?